Well, hey there, friends and neighbors. Dan Cavallari, Slow Guy on the Fast Ride. Today, I am in the garage. We're talking tech. Now, I got to thinking recently about bike locks and all the different ways you can cut through a bike lock. Even the biggest, most stout bike lock on the market can be cut. Well, that means when you choose a bike lock, you're choosing based on a few things. Portability, can you stuff it in your pocket? And security, will it save your bike from a potential bike thief? And of course, usability. So can I get it around my bike? Can I get it around a post? One of the locks I really like is the Ottolock. Now, this is one of their longer ones, but basically this is really convenient to use, really light, and you can stuff it in your jersey pocket. But will it stand up to a thief? Well, that depends on the type of tool that the thief happens to have on them. There are two general types of forces that will cut through a lock like this. Now, there's other forces, of course, but the two that most locks will succumb to a bike thief is going to be compression or shear. Well, what are those? I went to Portland, Oregon to talk to my friends at Ottolock. Jake VanderZanden, the founder of Ottolocks, knows quite a bit about compression and shear forces. So let's hear from him about these two types of forces and how those affect whether or not a thief can cut through your lock.
There's two different ways a surface or an Ottolock band might be cut. The first is compression, and that's two planes or surfaces moving and compressing against one another. The second is shear, where the two surfaces actually slide past one another on a slip plane. When the Ottolock band encounters a compressive type force, what happens is the bands are so thin, the aspect ratio is so wide to thin, that the bands will actually slightly compress, but will not actually cut all the way through. When an Ottolock band encounters a shear type force, the two surfaces will slide, as I mentioned, upon one another, and depending on the level of force exerted and whether there's 3 bands or 6 bands in the lock, the band will actually ultimately get cut. Our hex band model is far more difficult. Essentially, it's as simple as we have double the steel. So the forces actually multiply when you go to make that cutting effort. It can be done, again, but it requires extreme effort, almost to the point where the human hand can't do it. And in that case, opportunity theft is really stopped or thwarted. One of the things that makes the Ottolock band unique is there is actually 3 different layers of 8 thousandths thick steel, as opposed to just 1 layer of 24 thousandths thick steel. And what those 3 layers do when compressive force comes down upon it is they slide ever so slightly amongst one another, and that slows down the ability for any compressive force to actually cut the steel. The biggest reason that an Ottolock cinch design is so much more difficult to cut over a cable lock is what's called distributed load versus point contact load. In the case of an Ottolock, that same force that you're trying to compressively cut gets spread across a wider surface. In the case of a cable lock, all of that is put into the point on the arc of the radius of the cable. So that's a big difference. I mean, that exponentially increases the amount of cutting force that goes into a cable and why they're so much easier to cut.
So an Ottolock is designed to counter both compressive and shear forces, but Ottolock is very upfront about what its lock is designed to do, and that is to counter opportunity theft. If a thief is very prepared and has the right tools, it's probably going to get your bike no matter what kind of lock you have. Ottolock is meant to hedge your bets while you're making quick errands into the coffee shop or the grocery store. If you like this video, please do hit subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and leave us a comment, and go to slowguyonthefastride.com to sign up for our newsletter so you don't miss any of the cool content coming up.